so next thing we're gonna do, muscle ups, okay? We're gonna talk about muscle ups, what we're often gonna see, and start giving you guys maybe a progression to work on not using a false grip and kipping, and how a bar muscle up can actually help you guys a lot with that. So we'll just start with the strict muscle up with the false grip. If you guys have a bunch of these, kipping is obviously gonna be easier, right? And especially no matter what you do, the transition, where you put the rings is pretty much always gonna stay the same. Maybe things change a little bit without the false grip, but Matt, go ahead and show us a regular one. False grip, guys, in competitions these days, you're probably always gonna see a lockout at the bottom. So you're gonna have to flash your knuckles, and then as you come up, it's really important that we get our knuckles facing one another, elbows facing one another before you pull. So go ahead and show us what that looks like, Matt. There you go. And then as he comes back down, he's gonna have to reestablish that false grip. Usually with a bigger guy like Matt, you'll see there's a slow pull up and then aggressive kip over the rings. A little bit smaller. If you guys have an easier time holding that, you can still flash them. Start from the bottom. Now here's the big one, is the no false grip. And this is where most things have gone, because I think it's probably the most efficient way to do this. So go ahead and show us a couple of those, Matt. And he finishes quite a bit higher, has very little to press out. Okay, so we're gonna work some stuff on the bar here to learn how to do it here. And we'll also kind of learn the bar muscle up at the same time, because these are freaking mean. So when we do a muscle up without a false grip, which is the same thing here, you can't have a false grip on the bar, you have to pull kind of to your belly. If you can't, you can still get the assist. And then all we have to do once we're at that position, we're not gonna hang out there, but the second we feel the peak of that, that's where we need to do the biggest sit-up in the world, right? We're gonna peak hard for our toes, sit up real hard, look for my toes, and wrap my elbows over top. It's real important that we learn this down here, because that's the action I have to have on my rings, because I don't have a false grip anymore. My hand isn't on top of the rings. I have to get the whole system over the rings, and that's what we have to do on a bar muscle up. Show us just one on your own. So he's still gonna pull the same way. Real fast elbows as he gets over the bar, peeking for the toes. If you guys need to assist, come on down, Matt. We'll do the same thing, just on 3, and I'm just gonna give Matt some help. Obviously, I'm a little short, but go ahead, hop up there. So we'll do the same thing on 3. 1, 2, 3. I'll help him, especially from his back, right? We'll especially help from the back. But if people have a hard time getting to that position, we wanna help them get their feet up there as well. And surprisingly, where Matt is, if you guys are talking about bar muscle ups, this is the place to rest, not down on the bar. So you guys can come down and get your generate your big kip. Another thing, guys, I'd really strongly encourage you to do on this is to wrap your thumb. If you don't wrap your thumb, what can happen? Come right off the bar. Yeah, so wrap your thumbs. If you miss it, you miss it, but you'll miss it back instead of forward. So now let's apply this to up here. It's actually easier, in my opinion, up here, because the bar, you have to pull kind of down almost by your belly button to get there. The easier part about the bar is it's not gonna swing around, right? It's locked in so you can kip really hard on that. This, your kip's gonna be a little bit limited, but go ahead and hop up there and show us again, Matt. Everything's gonna apply. He's gonna create that same swing as best as he can. He's gonna pull to his belly, then he's peeking hard for his toes, and that's gonna throw his chest through. Now, when you peek for your toes, guys, it's not just a big sit-up anymore. Now we're gonna start to pull. Once I'm here, when I sit up, I have to pull back on my rings at the same time. A lot of people make the mistake of either just trying to pull or just trying to sit. You need to do both as you sit for your toes. So 2 things I want you to think about for a little bit more efficiency. So it might help you, it might not. One is when you guys pull, a lot of you are still pulling with your hands like this or like this. What's easier to do? Like if you guys ever do a weighted pull-up, what's easier, to pull like this or this? Yeah. This, right? So when you guys pull, you might think about this. You may start with your rings here because it's comfortable to hang. But when I start to get my kip, watch what I do with my hands as I pull up. So now you pull like a chin up, right? And once you get to the peak of that pull, that's when you can start to rotate out. And this, you might be able to pull higher than this. The other piece is, especially yesterday, a lot of you guys did this. What's more efficient? Kip the dip, right? So if you guys get stuck at the bottom, pump your knees up, drive them up, okay? Then the last thing I want you guys to think about is hop on up here, Matt, is a bigger athlete is probably gonna press away from the rings to create a bigger swing. So Matt finishes it, he's gonna kip away, big swing, and that's gonna keep his momentum. But if you guys rest for a second, Matt, if you guys can, if you're a smaller athlete, what should you be trying to do? Straight down, straight up. So show us maybe one or two of those, Matt. So once we hit the top, we're gonna come straight down. There it is. Attaboy, yeah. And you guys can see that. Rest is much faster than the big swing. But maybe you start like that and resort to a push away. Make sense?
I'm lazy. I want to do as little work as possible, and I am not good at ring dips because of my body weight. I fatigue at them very quickly. So, you know, where Chris can do probably 20 muscle-ups in a row, if I were to do 20, it's the dip that I get fatigued on. And then I lack the coordination to get that kip at the right time as I get tired. And bigger guys especially, you got to change that mindset to, I'm going to receive it in the low dip position, to I'm going to pull myself high enough and not bend my arms and just pull to my sides. And it's a lot easier to say than it is to do, because you have to get that belly button to bar pull up and then just pull. There might be a slight dip, but look at this. What's easier? All you need to do to kind of train that one is literally belly to bar pull-ups, 15 sets of one, whatever, to get good at that, and then start thinking, okay, no low dip position. Pull to my hip, and then you just gotta extend.